Hey, I'm Taylor, a business consultant and strategist, and I'm here to teach you that you can scale your business sustainably. This is Simply Business, your playbook for structure, clarity, and strategy that grows your business without costing your lifestyle. Let's get into it.
Now, you've invested, you haven't one investment property.
I've two. Yeah.
Two. Is that, I'm like, I was just listening to a podcast. Is that a recent purchase, your second one? Or
Well, I have the one in Perth, the apartment that I lived in. And it's an investment property. And then I have the Brisbane one that I bought in May. Crazy.
Oh my God, almost a year ago then. Oh my God, that is crazy. So talk me through like why investing. I think there's like that constant conversation around like purchase your first home and live in your first home and all of the things. Like, why did you go down the route of building investment portfolio? I know you lived in the Perth one for the first year. Is that right?
Yeah, I lived in the Perth one because I wanted the first home buyer's grant back then.
Yeah.
And then I moved interstate during COVID, which was not a great idea, but anyway, here we are. Yes, then I rented that one out, and then I don't know where I want to live. I'm living in Melbourne at the moment. I've been there for a year. I probably won't stay there long term, so there's no point buying a house to live in Melbourne personally. So then I decided to buy another investment in Brisbane.
Yeah.
Like, the decisions I make are usually just about like, how do I have more freedom and flexibility, and how am I like generally heading in the right direction rather than having a fixed 10-year plan or stuff like that. Like, a lot of people come to me being like, oh, what's the plan for like in 5 years time? Or like, when do you want to buy somewhere to live? Or when do you want to do this? And when do you want to do that? And I don't like actually really know. So I'm just trying to open up all the doors that I can.
Yeah, totally. What was the process in terms of then purchasing your first home? Like in terms of savings, what that process looked like, that I think a lot of people don't know the hidden expenses. I know even for me, and it was like, oh, this solicitor's fee and like this thing and that thing. Like
all
I was
new words of like these people and you're like, what is a conveyancer?
Yeah. I'm like, what is that thing? Building and pest, okay? Like
it was quite random, I guess. Like, I had savings and I knew that I wanted to buy a property at some point because that's what my parents had said to do. I think I had like 70 grand in savings. It was during COVID, so it was April of 2020. I think I put the offer in. I was just like driving around and I saw this apartment building had been built by the government to try and increase density in these random suburbs, which was really cool. I went to Home Open, loved it, and then put an offer in. I got to buy it a few weeks later, which was really fun. Because it was a first home buyer one, there wasn't too many extra expenses. Like, yes, there was the solicitor conveyancer, there was the building and pest. I don't know what else we paid for. There's like PEXA fees and random things like that. There were a few $100s and stuff. But really, it wasn't like too bad. So I put down $52,000 as a deposit. I got the 10 grand first home buyer's grant. Yeah. And then, I lived in it. Crazy.
Are they both positively geared?
Perth, yes. Brisbane, no. But they even out.
Yeah.
No, the Brisbane one is really not. My mortgage is like $1,000 a week and I get like $606 a week rent there.
Yeah.
There's been a few issues, but that's okay.
Yeah. It's probably like that's similar to me with like our mortgage repayments versus the rent that we're getting. And I think I'm not like in the investing game. Like, property's kind of been the thing that I've like heard from family, which is why I'm so excited to talk to you about investing. And I really want to go down that path as well.
So you own one investment property?
Yeah, we have one investment property. No, so we are renting currently, and then we purchased that one like as a principal place of residence. We renovated it. It took us 10 weeks to do the renos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was like, I'm getting in and out. And then we started renting it out, which has been so good. But it's definitely been one of those things for me with like a mindset piece of like, because it's costing right now, but I'm like, Taylor, if you were investing, it's still a cost. Like, you're like, I'm so used to just getting a return right away. And I'm like, this is so rude. But I'm like,
very interesting switching that mindset between like being a saver and then spending. It's been quite interesting in business that way as well. Because I used to be very frugal and want to save a lot of money. But now to start a new business, you have to spend a lot of money. And that's been quite interesting, like flipping between the two. And it almost feels like monopoly money now. Where you're like, oh, well, just spend my money on this stuff.
Yeah. And I think it's like such a weird in between as well, because it will pay off in 10, 20 years. But like in the moment, you're like, is this the right decision? And I think when it is your money, it can feel like, it feels really bizarre. I'm like, is this the right decision?
Yeah, I feel like I think as it's taken me years to get to this point, I feel okay with it now. But it's also interesting to try and be like, oh, don't overspend now. Because it's hard to, I'm very like all or nothing. Where I'll be very frugal and then I'll like be like, okay, we're like hiring full staff. Good times.
Yeah. How do you kind of budget? So now you've got your business. Obviously, you had like your business of like personal brand and things like that. But what is kind of your process around being able to take more like risk, but also like still having data to kind of back you? Like whether that be, maybe we'll start with business first, because I feel like that's a big one for people. Like, do I invest in the thing? Do I keep the money for cash flow? Like, what's your process with how that you manage finances?
When I first switched from being a sole trader, well, back when I quit my job, actually, so I was making, I think it was like 60 grand a year when I quit my job to do it full time. So I was like, cool, I can actually cover all my expenses before I take that risk. So I've been very risk averse until now, I guess, where I've like made sure I could actually make money from something before I've taken that big leap. So yeah, I dropped down, I think I worked full time and then I dropped down to part time and then I dropped down to just like doing business full time or doing content full time, which was really fun. And then I switched over to a company. I paid myself 60 grand a year for a little while from that. And then I moved it up to 120 and now I pay myself 170 grand a year from the content business, which is like amazing. Very cool. But that was just like kind of trial and error. And I waited until I built up big cash buffers before I increased how much I paid myself. But for the mortgage broking one, that's been really fun and interesting because I'm earning a lot of money at the moment. But the cash cycle, I guess, for mortgage broking is you'll see a client, you'll get the money or the commission maybe in 4 to 6 months after you see some people in terms of like settlements, or sometimes people take a while to find property, especially at the moment. So the general thing there is you might make your money back and be profitable after a year, maybe. Hopefully. So I've committed a decent amount of money to it to hire like the first 4 team members. But it's just kind of a game of maths, I guess. Like other businesses are a bit harder because you don't have the exact, it's just a lot harder to predict in like coaching businesses or other things. Mortgage broking is very like, you see a client, you will hopefully get paid in 4 to 6 months and you know how much you'll get paid. But with other things, it's a lot more up in the air. Like content was a lot more up in the air for so long.
Yeah, totally. And you mentioned buffers. Like how did you create that stability in a very like unpredictable kind of business landscape?
I think it was just having a job for so long.
Yeah,
and not relying on it until I had that kind of big buffer saved up.
Yeah.
Like in my first business now, I've got like almost 200 grand in cash, which is just crazy. And before I hired my first team member, like I pay her 81 grand a year plus super. Before I hired her, I had 90 grand in cash saved up in the business.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew that I could still pay her salary, even if like for some reason I made no money.
Yeah.
Which is not the best advice ever because that's like a massive amount to have saved. But that just made me feel more secure.
If you know me, you know I'm a bit of a data type A nerd. And when we were checking our podcast stats the other day, we realized only 40% of listeners to our show are subscribed. In true Taylor fashion, I've set a goal of getting that number to at least 60%. So if you've been getting any kind of value from these episodes, it would mean the world to me if you could hit follow wherever you listen to your podcasts. It genuinely helps me reach more people, continue to bring on bigger guests, and create more content that's going to allow you to grow your business. So if you haven't already, take 2 seconds, hit follow, and enjoy the rest of the podcast. Okay, love you. Bye.
Yeah. I feel like I'm the exact same in that, which is why I asked the question around like risks, because I'm probably too far on the spectrum of just like, I need to have this amount saved. Like I need to like feel really safe in decisions.
That's good though.
Yeah.
Like a study I think they did in Princeton a little while ago where it's like people in financial distress have the equivalent of a lower IQ of like 13 points or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like don't make decisions when you're financially stressed and do everything you can to not be financially distressed.
Yeah.
So I think it's, yes, there's business advice being like, you should scale really quickly and you should do all of this stuff. But I also think you shouldn't put yourself in stress if you can avoid it.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's such a piece around like sustainable business, which, like it's really celebrated to be like, we like, 10x our revenue in like this short period of time. But I think even like considering the human behind the business as well, of just like how that you're actually feeling, and something I'm so for, I'm like, well, if your relationship's suffering, if your health's suffering as a result, like what is the cost?
And are you enjoying it?
Yeah.
I just don't want to be that stressed. And I don't want to have to like make desperate decisions. And especially when you start hiring people, like I feel so like responsible for the people that I hire. Like they're real adults with kids, some of them, which is just crazy. I don't want to make a really rash decision and then have to fire them because I've not planned properly myself.
Yeah.
It's terrifying to me.
Yeah, totally.
And that's another episode of Simply Business. I would love for you to rate this podcast, comment below if you have any feedback, DM me on Instagram, and even better, share it with your friends, family, or share on Instagram. See you in the next episode.